Mechanical properties and testing of steels. This is one of the very important aspect in process industry. In this course, which is 4 hours duration, we are going to cover a lot of things. First of all, we'll look at the atomic levels. We'll look into various basics so that we can understand what is happening at atomic level, at crystal lattice level. So let us see how we are going to cover the whole course. First of all, we'll try to understand what are various types of crystal lattice, which are really important with respect to steel. Then we'll look into how the atoms are arranged, how much space they are occupying, what kind of voids are there. Okay, what is austenitic and ferritic steels, which are really very important in process industry. Then we'll look into the different types of voids. We'll go a little bit deep here so that we can understand how the austenitic and ferritic steels are different from each other. We'll look into each and every aspect at atomic level so that we can compare what kind of steels we are using in process industry and why we are using those things. Then once we understand the basics, we'll look into few of the really important aspects with respect to solubility of carbon in steels. Again, we'll look at the atomic levels. We'll look into various lattice structures so that we can understand how the carbon is interacting with the iron atoms. Again, we'll understand the aspect of hardness with respect to carbon into steels, and we'll look into the weldability. What are the various kind of equivalents are there, carbon equivalent, nickel chromium equivalent, and how these are interrelated and how these are related to weldability. So we'll try to understand the whole concept with respect to weldability also. Then we'll look into to understand the ductile behavior. We'll look into what kind of slip bands, slip planes are there, how these slips are different in FCC and BCC structures, what are the grain boundaries, dislocations, and how these are interrelated with each other. So we'll look into each and every aspect so that we can understand the concept of ductile, brittleness, everything with respect to carbon steels. In second part, we are going to understand the testing aspects with respect to metallurgical test, destructive test, non-destructive test, visual and inspection, marking, etc. So we'll cover each and every test. We'll try to understand the basics behind each and every test so that we can understand what are grain sizes, how intergranular corrosion is there, what is ferrite testing, hydrogen induced cracking testing, sulfide stress corrosion cracking, right? This will cover into metallurgical testing. Then under destructive testing, we are going to check what are the basics behind tensile, bend, flattening, impact, and creep test. So we try to understand the basics behind each and every test. Then for non-destructive testing, we'll look into various definition types, ultrasonic, magnetic, radiographic, liquid penetration testing, acoustic, emission testing. So this we'll try to understand each and every test on at the basic levels. Then visual and inspection, hydro testing, visual inspection and marking. What are the various things we need to remember while marking and visual inspection? So those aspects we'll cover into this section. So this is going to be very important course where we are looking at very basic things so that we can understand the mechanical properties of any steel.